I didn't think I'd like this shoe, and it's pretty important to say that not everybody will. But if you're a fan of firmer shoes like the Superblast 2 or the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 4, if you're not looking for soft and squishy but instead prefer stable and springy, this could well be your next daily trainer. Welcome to the Puma Deviate Pure Nitro, a new, more affordable and incredibly light member of the Deviate family in this spectacular ultra red colorway. Let's chat. Hi there, I'm Chris, a journalist who loves nothing more than busting through the marketing hype to tell it like it really is. And speaking of marketing hype, there has been a lot of heavy breathing recently from shoe reviewers who have received this shoe for free from marketing departments. So I thought I'd better buy a pair myself. Importantly, on this channel we do pay for all of the shoes that we test, to bring you a balanced and unbiased review of what this shoe is all about. Of course, it didn't upset me at all that I was buying the shoe in this particular ultra red color, which I think is absolutely stunning. So what is the Deviate Pure Nitro? It's a back-to-basics daily trainer that weighs on my dodgy kitchen scales, in my size US 9.5, a truly amazing 197 grams or 6.95 ounces. That is heading towards race shoe weight. It also has a drop of 8 millimeters from 38 mil at the back to 30 mil at the front. The upper is lovely and super comfortable, with just enough stretch to make sure that the shoe doesn't rub at the front, even for my relatively broad feet. This is not one of those super narrow Puma shoes of the past. Puma seems to have learnt its lesson and it's now creating shoes for the average foot size. And this one fits me perfectly in my usual true to size US 9.5. The upper breathes really well. The padding around the heel cup is a perfect level. It's incredibly comfortable. The high quality laces are a really good length for runners lacing, and the slightly padded tongue is also an excellent length. The only change I made was to undo the top few rows of laces and to then re-thread them through the tongue loop. I felt that the laces were thread through the tongue loop a little bit too low down and it was going to drag the tongue down as I was running, and so I just moved it up so that a higher line of lace was going through that tongue loop. On the outsole we have several healthy slabs of class-leading PumaGrip, which I'm having a lot of fun with at the moment. I've been doing a lot of running in the rain, in the wet, and whenever I'm wearing Puma shoes, and particularly this pair which I've been wearing for the last week or so, I've been trying to find situations where I can slip around. I've been trying to engineer a bit of slipping, and even in these types of situations I cannot get it to budge, I cannot get it to slip. From this angle you can also see the shoe's width, particularly across the midfoot, which creates exceptional stability, particularly for people who heel strike. But this shoe, trust me, I am not a heel striker, this shoe is really comfortable for forefoot striking, midfoot striking, or for heel striking. And in the midsole, which is what the Pure name is all about, we have Pure Nitro foam without any carbon plate or anything else. This foam is nitrogen injected for lightweight responsiveness and cushioning, Puma says. There's a perception out there that Puma is using their top-of-the-line racing foam in the Pure. And I think that's because that's what the Evo SL does with its Light Strike Pro foam, which was a racing foam from a couple of generations back. And Puma's top racing foam also has the word nitro foam in its name. But the foam in the Pure is very different to the foam in Puma's top-end racing shoe, the Fast R3. It doesn't feel anything like the same foam, and that's good because if you put the foam from the Fast R3 into the Pure, it would need a carbon plate to stop it from wibbling and wobbling. And that's not to say that the foam in the Pure is bad, it's just different. And actually, I'd say it's really good, particularly if you like your foam a little bit firm. If you're really into squish, if you really love shoes like the Asics Superblast 3 or the Asics Nimbus, then this is not the daily trainer for you. But if you love shoes like the Superblast 2 or the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 4, then I would highly recommend the Pure for you. It does have some give during landing, but I would absolutely not describe it as soft and spongy. It protects your feet really well from what's going on below, and it does give you a feeling of spring from kickoff. Just not racing style spring, but more like do it all day spring. In the Pures, I've done slow, easy sessions as well as one very fast tempo session. The sort of session where I probably would have worn a much faster shoe had I not been testing the Pures. And this shoe performed really well at each of those paces. Would a carbon plated shoe like Puma's racing shoes, the Fast R3 or the Deviate Nitro Elite 4, have done that tempo session better? Absolutely. And would a max stack shoe like the Puma Mag Max 2 have been more luxurious on the easy runs? Totally. But could any of those shoes have done all of those runs as well as the Deviate Pure Nitro did? Not a chance. And that's what this shoe is all about. It's a really good daily trainer, the sort of shoe you could take away with you on a holiday and know that it will happily do every single run that you need to do while you're away. And because it is so incredibly light for a daily trainer, it also won't add too much extra weight to your baggage. So, lovely, comfortable upper, firm but springy midsole foam, no carbon plate, incredibly lightweight, no bells and whistles apart from this lovely little message under the heel tab. The Deviate Pure Nitro is just a really good, extremely well designed and beautifully colourful daily trainer. And there are so many fantastic daily trainers around these days. So why all the heavy breathing? I think it's because as runners, we're always looking for the next mind-blowing thing. We're looking for the next shoe that will change everything, like the Superblast 1 and Superblast 2 did, like the Evo SL did, like way back in the day the Nike Vaporfly did, back when carbon-plated shoes were just a twinkle in the eye of shoe marketers. Is this a shoe that will change the running world? No, it's not. But it is a really good daily trainer for people who love a firmer but energetic ride. That's it. For more unbiased, honest reviews that cut through the marketing hype, please do subscribe. It really helps our little channel and it means you won't miss out. Thanks so much. Run well. We'll see you next time.